Welcome, everyone. Have you ever considered the profound impact Black heroes have had on society, shaping it into what we see today? Let's embark on a journey through time, where we'll illuminate the lives and contributions of 10 influential Black heroes, whose relentless pursuit of justice and equality fundamentally reshaped not just the United States, but the world as we know it. Our journey begins with Rosa Parks, an American civil rights activist whose refusal to surrender her bus seat in Montgomery, Alabama, sparked a mass boycott and invigorated the struggle for racial equality. Her courage continues to inspire us even today. Next, we'll delve into the life of Malcolm X, an American Muslim minister and human rights activist who emerged as a prominent figure during the civil rights movement. His powerful oratory and uncompromising pursuit of racial justice continued to reverberate through the ages. Then we'll turn our attention to Harriet Tubman, an American abolitionist and social activist who, after escaping slavery, risked her life to guide fellow enslaved people to freedom through the Underground Railroad. Her bravery was unparalleled. We'll also explore the life of Martin Luther King Jr., an American Baptist minister, activist, and political philosopher. His peaceful protests and stirring speeches became a cornerstone of the civil rights movement, inspiring millions and effecting monumental change. We'll continue our journey with Stokely Carmichael, Thurgood Marshall, Ella Baker, Bayard Rustin, Marcus Mosiah Garvey Jr., and Asa Philip Randolph. Each of them played a crucial role in the struggle for civil rights, leaving a lasting legacy that continues to inspire and guide future generations. From Carmichael's global Pan-African movement to Marshall's tenure as the first Black Supreme Court Justice, from Baker's behind-the-scenes organizing to Rustin's planning of the 1963 March on Washington, from Garvey's Black nationalist movement to Randolph's successful labor union, these individuals were not just heroes, they were trailblazers. Their stories are not just a part of history, they continue to shape our present and influence our future. They remind us of the power of resilience, the importance of equality, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. Join us as we journey through time, exploring the lives and contributions of these extraordinary individuals. Our journey begins in a bus in Montgomery, Alabama with Rosa Parks. Picture this, December 1st, 1955. Rosa Parks, a seamstress and civil rights activist, boards a bus after a long day's work. As the bus fills up, a white man steps on and there are no seats left. The law of the day dictates that Rosa must give up her seat, yet she remains seated. Her act of defiance is quiet but powerful, a silent protest against the racial inequality deeply ingrained in society. The bus driver demands Rosa to move, but she refuses. Her arrest that day sparks a flame that ignites the Montgomery bus boycott. A staggering 17,000 Black citizens, tired of being second-class citizens in their own country, join the boycott. For 381 days they walk to work, to school, to church, refusing to use the buses, crippling the city's public transport system. Rosa Parks' simple act of defiance becomes a symbol of resistance, a catalyst for the civil rights movement. Her name echoes through the halls of history, reminding us of the courage it takes to stand up against injustice. Rosa Parks didn't set out to become a hero that day, but her quiet strength and unwavering resolve made her one. Rosa Parks' refusal to give up her seat sparked a revolution that forever changed the course of history. Next, we turn our attention to a man of words and action, Malcolm X. A name synonymous with the struggle for racial equality, Malcolm X was a formidable force during the civil rights movement. His words were powerful, his actions bold, and his impact on American society profound. Malcolm X was more than just a civil rights activist. He was an American Muslim minister, a role he embraced with fervor and dedication. His faith played a significant part in shaping his worldview and his approach to activism. It gave him a unique perspective, one that he used to challenge the status quo and fight for a world where racial equality was a reality, not just an ideal. His speeches were fiery, unapologetic, and thought-provoking. He challenged the norms, questioned the system, and demanded justice. His words were not just heard, they were felt. They resonated with those who were tired of the inequality, the injustice, and the discrimination. As a human rights activist, Malcolm X fought tirelessly for the rights of African Americans. He sought to empower those who had been marginalized and oppressed, giving them a voice and encouraging them to fight for their rights. Malcolm X's legacy is one of courage, conviction, and change. His tireless fight against racial inequality has left an indelible mark on history. His words continue to inspire, his actions continue to be admired, and his fight for justice continues to resonate. Malcolm X's unyielding voice against racial inequality remains a powerful symbol of the civil rights movement. From words to action, we now focus on the extraordinary courage of Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman, a name that echoes through the annals of American history, a name that symbolizes defiance, bravery, and freedom. She was born into the shackles of slavery, but she was never destined to remain in them. Tubman's journey to freedom was not a solitary one. She was the conductor of the Underground Railroad, an intricate network of safe houses and secret routes, a lifeline for those enslaved. It was a daring and dangerous mission, fraught with peril at every turn. But Tubman was not deterred. Over the course of about a decade, she undertook around 13 missions, each one a beacon of hope for those who yearned for freedom. Her bravery was not just in her actions, but also in her resolve. Tubman did not just free herself, she went back, time and again, risking her newfound freedom to rescue approximately 70 enslaved people. Among them were her family and friends, those she held dear, tethered to a life of servitude. This was a mission of liberation, a mission of love. Tubman was not just an abolitionist. She was a social activist, a woman who stood strong in the face of adversity, who fought for the freedom of her people, who dared to challenge the status quo. Harriet Tubman, a beacon of hope and a testament to the power of bravery and determination. Moving forward, we delve into the life of a man whose dream continues to inspire millions, Martin Luther King Jr. Born into a lineage of Baptist ministers, King's path was paved with faith and conviction. His journey into leadership within the civil rights movement was not accidental, but a deliberate response to the call for equality. King was a beacon of hope in a time of despair. As head of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, he organized peaceful protests that echoed the cry for justice and equality. His approach was nonviolent yet powerful, a testament to his belief in the power of love and unity to overcome oppression. One of his most significant contributions was the March on Washington in 1963, a monumental event that amplified the voices of the oppressed and spotlighted the need for change. King's iconic "I Have a Dream" speech, delivered on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, painted a picture of a future where all men were judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. King's life was cut short by an assassin's bullet in 1968, but his vision lives on. His dream of a world where equality and justice prevail has become a beacon for every generation that followed. Martin Luther King Jr., a man whose dream of equality and justice continues to resonate in our hearts. Our journey now leads us to a figure of global activism and Pan-Africanism, Stokely Carmichael. Born in Trinidad and raised in the United States from the age of 11, Carmichael's activism roots were planted during his time at the Bronx High School of Science. Stokely Carmichael was a steadfast force in the civil rights movement. His beliefs and actions were fueled by a quest for racial equality, not just in the United States, but across the globe. He was an influential organizer, a voice for the unheard, and a leader in the struggle for civil rights. Carmichael's influence extended beyond the borders of the United States. He was a key figure in the global Pan-African movement, pushing for the unity and cooperation of all people of African descent. He believed in the power of collective action, and his efforts played a crucial role in fostering solidarity among African nations. Carmichael's activism was not without controversy. His advocacy for Black Power, a term he popularized, was seen as radical in its time. Yet, his call for Black autonomy and self-determination resonated with many, leading to a shift in the discourse around civil rights and racial equality. Stokely Carmichael's legacy is one of unwavering commitment to racial justice. His life serves as a testament to the power of activism and the impact one person can make in the fight for equality. Stokely Carmichael, a man who tirelessly fought for equality on a global stage. Next, we explore the legacy of a trailblazer in the pursuit of racial justice, Thurgood Marshall. Born in a time when racial segregation was the norm, Marshall was a beacon of hope, not just for the African American community, but for everyone who believed in equality. His journey to becoming the first Black Supreme Court justice was not an easy one, but it was a journey marked by resilience, determination, and an unwavering belief in justice. Marshall's legacy is not just encapsulated in his role as a Supreme Court justice, but in his significant contributions to the civil rights movement. He was a legal architect, crafting strategies and arguments that dismantled the legal basis for segregation in America. His most notable victory, the Brown versus Board of Education case, marked the end of legal segregation in public schools. But his work didn't stop there. Throughout his 24 years on the Supreme Court, Marshall continued to be a voice for the voiceless, consistently standing up for individual rights and liberties. He fought against discrimination, championed equal rights, and tirelessly worked to ensure that the principles of justice and equality were not just ideals, but realities for all Americans. Thurgood Marshall's legacy continues to inspire and guide us today. His life and work remind us that change is possible, that justice can prevail, and that each of us has a role to play in making our society more equitable. Thurgood Marshall, a symbol of progress in the relentless pursuit of racial justice. We now turn our focus to a tireless, behind-the-scenes organizer of the civil rights movement, Ella Baker. A woman of extraordinary dedication, she devoted more than 5 decades of her life to the fight for civil and human rights. Born in the early 20th century, Baker grew up with a front-row seat to the racial injustices that plagued the American South, an experience that would shape her life's work. Baker's activism wasn't characterized by grand speeches or headline-grabbing protests. Instead, she worked diligently and persistently away from the spotlight, organizing, planning, and strategizing. Her belief in grassroots activism led her to empower ordinary people, helping them to understand and claim their rights. She worked alongside some of the most well-known figures of the civil rights movement, including Martin Luther King Jr. and Thurgood Marshall. Yet Baker's name is often left out of the history books. Despite this, her contributions were instrumental in shaping the course of the civil rights movement. Her extraordinary dedication to the cause of equality was unwavering. She worked tirelessly, often sacrificing personal comfort and security for the greater good. She believed in the power of collective action and the potential of every individual to effect change. Ella Baker, a woman whose dedication and quiet diligence played a pivotal role in the fight for equality. Her legacy continues to inspire and guide activists today, reminding us that change often starts with the dedicated work of individuals behind the scenes. Our journey continues with a leader of multiple social movements, Bayard Rustin. A man of many causes, Rustin was a champion of civil rights, socialism, nonviolence, and gay rights. His activism was a beacon of change in a world fraught with prejudice and discrimination. Rustin's impact on the civil rights movement was profound. He worked side by side with A. Philip Randolph on the March on Washington movement in 1941, pushing relentlessly for an end to racial discrimination in employment. Rustin's dedication to the cause of equality was unwavering, his voice unyielding in the face of adversity. But Rustin's influence didn't stop there. He was also a devoted socialist, believing in the power of the working class to effect change. His commitment to nonviolence was deeply rooted in his Quaker upbringing, shaping his approach to activism and his belief in peaceful protest as a means to accomplish societal transformation. Rustin was also openly gay, making him a pioneer in the fight for gay rights. Despite the societal norms and prejudices of his time, Rustin lived his truth openly and courageously, advocating for the rights of the LGBTQ+ community at a time when such advocacy was fraught with personal risk. Bayard Rustin, an influential figure whose work crossed the boundaries of multiple social movements. His legacy continues to inspire and guide those who believe in the power of peaceful protest and the pursuit of equality. Next, we delve into the life of a visionary who organized the first Black nationalist movement, Marcus Mosiah Garvey Jr., born in Jamaica. Garvey's impact extended far beyond his homeland, inspiring millions of African descendants around the globe. Garvey's journey began with a simple yet profound belief that people of African descent have a rich history and a valuable place in the world. He sought to instill this pride and self-confidence in others, leading to the establishment of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, or UNIA. The UNIA was more than a political organization. It was a beacon of hope, a platform for Black empowerment that had never been seen before. Garvey's audacious spirit was further evident when he declared himself the Provisional President of Africa. Though controversial, this bold move was a testament to his unwavering belief in the potential of the African continent and its people. He envisioned a unified Africa, free from colonial rule where its resources would benefit its people, not foreign powers. Garvey's vision was not just about political power, but about cultural pride, economic self-sufficiency, and global unity among people of African descent. He advocated for Black-owned businesses, education that reflected African history, and a return to African traditions and values. Marcus Mosiah Garvey Jr., a man whose visionary leadership continues to inspire Black nationalism. Finally, we conclude our journey with a labor unionist and civil rights activist who made history, Asa Philip Randolph. Born in Crescent City, Florida, Randolph's journey towards becoming a leader of change began early in his life. His beliefs in the principles of labor rights and equality were shaped by his father, a Methodist minister, and his mother, a skilled seamstress. In the mid-20s, Randolph emerged as a pioneering figure in the labor movement. He organized and led the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters, the first successful African-American-led labor union. This was a defining moment, not just for Randolph, but for an entire generation of Black workers who had long been marginalized and exploited. His relentless pursuit of fair wages, reasonable hours, and better working conditions was a beacon of hope for many. But Randolph's influence extended beyond labor rights. He was a key figure in the civil rights movement, using his platform to advocate for racial equality. His leadership was instrumental in the planning of the March on Washington in 1963, where Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his famous "I Have a Dream" speech. Randolph's commitment to the fight for equality, labor rights, and civil rights was unwavering, making him an enduring symbol of Black leadership. Asa Philip Randolph, a leader whose tireless efforts laid the groundwork for future generations. As we come to the end of our journey, let's reflect on the lasting impact of these Black heroes. Their stories are not just history, but living lessons in courage, resilience, and the indomitable spirit of human dignity. Rosa Parks, whose refusal to give up her seat, sparked a revolution. Malcolm X, an unapologetic voice for justice. Harriet Tubman, the selfless liberator of her people. Martin Luther King Jr., a beacon of hope and unity. Stokely Carmichael, the fiery advocate for global African unity. Thurgood Marshall, the legal titan who reshaped our justice system. Ella Baker, the tireless behind-the-scenes orchestrator. Bayard Rustin, the proponent of peaceful protest. Marcus Garvey, the bold visionary of Black nationalism. And Asa Philip Randolph, the labor unionist who fought for fair employment. Each of these individuals has left an indelible mark on society. Their courage, dedication, and relentless pursuit of justice continue to inspire us, reminding us that we all have the power to effect change. And so we remember. We remember not just to honor these great individuals, but to internalize their values, to draw strength from their stories, and to continue their work in our own lives. Their struggles were not in vain, and their victories were not just their own. They belong to all of us, to every person who believes in justice, equality, and the inherent dignity of all human beings. So let's carry their legacy forward. Let's continue to learn, to grow, and to strive for a better world. It's not just our responsibility, it's our privilege. As we close this chapter, remember that each of us has the power to make a difference. Each of us can be a hero in our own way. So let's take up the mantle. Let's keep the flame alive. Let's continue to make history. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more inspiring stories and powerful lessons from history. Remember, we are all part of this story, and it's up to us to write the next chapter.